Today is Super Tuesday. We've got a stream coming up later on. So in this video, we're going to go back 4 years to 2020 and get a refresher on what happened in the Democratic primary. Spoiler, Biden wins it, but let's go back to the beginning and see who was actually running in that primary. There were a lot of notable candidates in there. Aside from Biden, there was Andrew Yang, Tulsi Gabbard, Elizabeth Warren, Amy Klobuchar, Bernie Sanders, Pete Buttigieg, and even Michael Bloomberg. In addition to Steyer, Patrick, and Bennett, the first one to declare their candidacy was actually John Delaney from Maryland. He got a head start on everybody else, but that really ultimately went nowhere. So this is 4 years after the Bernie and Hillary battle in that primary. But this time Bernie was back again. He already had a movement behind him and he was considered more of the progressive outsider. And like with a lot of primaries, the race shapes up to be a battle between the establishment and what others might consider to be a populist alternative. If you look back at the nationwide polling from January of 2020, it was a crowded field, but Biden actually was leading in most of these polls. He was getting in the 25 to 35% range. Generally, Bernie Sanders was in second place, so it was going to take some caucuses and some primaries to slowly narrow this field. And first, there was the Iowa caucus. Here are the results. A lot of you might remember. Looks like the winner is Pete Buttigieg. He got 26.2. Bernie Sanders right behind with 26.1. Third place was Warren with 18. Biden had a disappointing showing of fourth place with under 16% of the vote. Klobuchar in fifth. Biden was able to win a few of these scattered counties, but he got in fourth in Polk and in Johnson County. He wasn't even in the top four, so it was not looking good for Biden. At that point, it was shaping up to be a battle between Buttigieg and Sanders. If we go to the next contest, that was in New Hampshire. It was another very close result, but Bernie Sanders did win it with 25.7. Buttigieg got in second at 24.4. Klobuchar had a strong showing at just under 20. Warren got in fourth, and look at that, all the way down at the bottom, we've got Joe Biden in fifth place. So at this point, with two contests out of the way, and Biden not even getting in the top three in any of them, it would look like Biden is not going to be the nominee. If you look at the map down below, it was all Bernie, Buttigieg, and a few with Klobuchar. So Sanders, the outsider, was gaining momentum. Next, we head to the Nevada caucus. There, Bernie Sanders had a clean victory. He's under 50%. He got 46.8. But then we've got Biden suddenly in second place with 20%. Buttigieg down at third. Let's take a look at the most populous county of Clark. Bernie with 49 there. Biden in second with 24.3. If we look at Washoe County, Biden again, curiously not in the top four. Bernie the winner there with 44. Quick side note, it looks like Tom Steyer actually won Mineral County. It's always fun to go back and see things you didn't find the first time. So at this point in the race, it looked like Bernie might be able to pull it off this time. Now it's still a crowded field. If you add up all the establishment support, it might be enough to take out Sanders. So here's the turning point. After Nevada, but before South Carolina, Jim Clyburn, the powerful South Carolina Democrat, endorses Joe Biden. That is crucial to shore up support from black voters in the next state. So who knows what happened behind the scenes? Maybe Obama got involved. Who knows? But it was clear that they did not want Bernie Sanders to be the nominee. Maybe they thought he would lose in the general election. Maybe they didn't like his policies. Or maybe they were just a big Biden fan and doing him a favor. Either way, that next primary, Biden was able to win. He got under 50%, but Sanders was nowhere near. He was at 20. Tom Steyer there got in third, and Biden had a clean sweep. He won every one of these counties. So all of a sudden, Biden looks like he's back from the dead. After fifth place in New Hampshire, all of a sudden he's starting to win some states. But there's still a lot of candidates in this race, and they did not want Bernie to have the nomination. So what can they do to consolidate establishment support? Well, on March 1st, we've got Mayor Pete Buttigieg. He drops out of the race and endorses Joe Biden. So theoretically, ahead of Super Tuesday 4 years ago, the bulk of the support for Buttigieg would then transfer over to Biden. But is that going to be enough? Well, the very next day, Amy Klobuchar does the same thing. She drops out and endorses Biden. So now two notable candidates have dropped out and they're behind Biden. Then what happens on Super Tuesday? Well, here's the results. Biden swept through most of the states. Bernie was able to win California, Utah, Colorado, and his home state of Vermont. Some of the margins are close. At that point, you still did have Warren, and even Bloomberg was having more success in a smaller field, but the intention succeeded. Bernie was basically kneecapped, and the shift in momentum from South Carolina was not going to reverse course. So if you look at the states after Super Tuesday, Bernie still did have a little bit of success. He was able to win a place like North Dakota, but with the establishment support largely behind Biden, slowly everybody dropped. Biden won all the states, and eventually, even Bernie himself had to drop out. That happened in April. You can read about that here if you'd like. That pretty much sealed the deal. Bernie, who had two strong runs in 16 and in 20, he was unable to overcome the establishment support. And whether you think it's it's fair or not, it would have been interesting to see what Bernie would have done in the general election. It's never fun to see the establishment on either side gang up against an outsider, but in the end, Bernie ended up backing Biden. Eventually, that led to Biden having to choose a running mate. Here's the Wikipedia article that goes over the process. Eventually, of course, he selects Kamala Harris. Aside from her being relatively unpopular today, back then there was debate and criticism on him making identity the deciding factor. There are some people that are into that. I'm not one of them. And that's pretty much the whole process for the primary. Early on, especially after New Hampshire, it was very unlikely that Biden was going to be even competitive in this primary. Things happened behind the scenes, the stars aligned, Biden ended up winning, then the general election happened, and that's how we got to where we are today. So you can draw your own conclusions, but that's a quick recap of the 2020 Democratic primary. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about that primary? Did Bernie get completely screwed, or did Biden win it fair and square? What do you think about the Clyburn endorsement? Did that single-handedly change the outcome of this election? Should Bernie have not endorsed Biden? What do you think about the running mate selection? Let me know down below. On your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video.